All right, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. We got to the bottom of the Iranian missile yesterday in regards to the Ukrainian plane, and today we're going to have an update on that. There has been a lot more information that's come out since then. Chanel Rion just announced that the Pentagon has officially announced that, in fact, an Iranian missile did take down that Ukrainian passenger jet. But is it all it seems? Now, in speaking to my sources from yesterday, it has been confirmed that the missile itself, the warhead, never exploded. That's why there was no signs initially that there was a missile that had taken it down. However, we saw the pictures yesterday showing that a Tor M1 missile warhead was found on the ground. Now, the Ukrainians are paying attention, the United States is paying attention, and we've got some information coming out from Julian's Rum in terms of a theory as to why this happened. So please, everyone, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor. Did you guys know that your assets are not actually yours when times get tough? Well, the Wall Street Journal recently reported on two hedge funds that are in big trouble. These funds look after billions of dollars in client money, but these same two funds are refusing to let investors get their money back. This is going to be happening more and more as things begin to implode. So where is your savings? Do you have the permission to ask for them back? Well, if you don't have control of your money when things start to get tough, you're in trouble, and Noble Gold has the answer. A precious metal IRA with Noble Gold will let you have real hold on your own assets because they're yours, always yours. Not bits of paper, not promises, not excuses. Precious metal returns are set to explode over the next few years. So if you get in touch with Noble Gold and discover how you can keep your money safe when you need it, all you need to do is give them a call at 877-646-5347 or go to noblegoldinvestments.com and let them know that Red Pill 78 sent you. Or you can always hit the link below and get the free gold and silver investment guide. Once again, that's 877-646-5347. Tell them Red Pill 78 sent you. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today, just a recap from yesterday. This was that tweet that was sent over by my good friend and fellow researcher, TikTok, and this is a picture of that warhead on the ground. Clearly, it did not explode. So here is what looks to be a Tor M1 missile setup. However, it is a little bit different. We've got a different paint job right there. Now, here is a tweet from Chanel Rion. She put it out just an hour ago. It says, breaking, Pentagon says Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 was struck by a Russia-built Tor M1 surface-to-air missile. And then here next we have an article from dailymail.uk, and it shows again Ukrainian Airlines plane was shot down by Iranian anti-aircraft missiles. So obviously Russia had supplied the missiles. Iran accidentally or otherwise pushed the button and it took down that passenger jet. So now in that article from the Daily Mail, Ukrainian Airlines plane was shot down by an Iranian anti-aircraft missile. It says that President Trump says he has serious doubts about that Ukrainian plane crash in Iran, that it was caused by mechanical failure, and he does believe that somebody made a mistake after Pentagon officials said the jet was shot down. U.S. intelligence officials believe the Ukrainian Airlines flight, which crashed in Tehran, killing 176 people on Wednesday, was blasted out of the sky by an Iranian anti-aircraft missile system. Officials are confident that Iran shot down the Boeing 737-800 after detecting a radar system being turned on before two missiles were launched shortly before an explosion believed to have come from the jet. So obviously, now that the Pentagon is speaking about this, they're willing to talk about this additional intel. Now, two Pentagon officials added that the missiles were likely launched in error by Iranian anti-aircraft crews awaiting a U.S. response to Iran's rocket strikes against the American bases in Iraq just hours earlier. Now, Trump said on Thursday he has suspicions about the attack, telling reporters at the White House it was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood. Somebody could have made a mistake. I have a feeling that something very terrible happened, very devastating. And now, here we go. Again, we've got additional photos, the same photos from that plane crash yesterday. Now, when we were looking at this photo yesterday, we were trying to determine how did this debris hit the outside of that airplane. We didn't see the look of a missile. We didn't see an explosion, but clearly something hit it. So we thought maybe anti-aircraft guns, something like that. Well, I actually have an animatic sent over by TikTok, and it shows what would have happened. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so here in this tweet, we have an animatic which shows what would have happened. So the missile itself exploded. However, the warhead did not explode, which gives us all of this debris that comes out from the missile body itself and then hits the plane, gives us that speckled look that we saw on the fuselage and the wings. And there you have it, taking the plane out of the sky. Tragic, but we don't know yet whether it was actually an accident or whether it was on purpose. Now, we've got a couple different theories on both of those sites, so let's go ahead and continue. Jet. So now let's take a look at a tweet from Heshmat Ali. And it is some additional images from that same crash site. Same picture of that, same Tor M1 missile right there. Here is a picture of one actually going off, and this does have the same paint job right there. And then right here is another picture of a Tor M1 setup, and you can see slightly different paint job yet again. Now next, from BNO News, also sent over by my good friend and fellow researcher TikTok, we have footage of what appears to be the missile itself hitting Flight 752 before it crashed near Tehran. Let's go ahead and take a look. There you can see, that was most certainly an impact. And then the plane itself went down. Doesn't have footage of that, but that is the sound right there. Let's go ahead and watch it one more time. And the impact killing 176 people. Now, from the Gateway Pundit, the Ukrainian officials want to search the debris field for a Russian missile at the Iran plane crash site after seeing photos of it on the internet. And one of those photos they saw was the photo that TikTok sent to me yesterday. Now, with that footage released yesterday of that Ukrainian plane on the ground and 180 passengers and crew crashing yesterday morning, just minutes after takeoff, many people are concerned about what took place. Now, Al Hadath Dubai News did report yesterday that a missile took down that Ukrainian flight after the plane crashed on Wednesday. And of course, we have the same tweets that we saw yesterday. And remember, Iran refused to hand over that black box data, which is suspicious enough. It makes it look like they want to hide something. Why would they want to hide something? Well, if they didn't want the world to know, the global community to know that their missile, an M1 missile, actually did take down that plane, not giving over the black box would be an excellent way to do that. And it says Iran will not give the black box of the crashed Ukrainian airliner to plane maker Boeing. The head of Tehran's Civil Aviation Organization was quoted as saying on Wednesday. And it was not clear which country Iran would send the box to. So if they don't send it to a Western-backed country or the owner of that airplane, the producer of that airplane, the Ukrainians or Boeing, I don't understand how they think that anybody can actually get to the heart of it. But Ukrainian officials say that 737-800 involved in the crash is one of the best planes in the Ukrainian fleet. And that lines up with the intel that I got yesterday from someone who flies on Ukrainian airlines on quite a few occasions. Now, a local Iranian reportedly discovered that segment yesterday that we saw in the video, the Tor M1 missile near that Ukrainian plane crash site. And now it was reported that later that day, Iranian riot police were actually guarding the crash site, possibly to stop people from getting additional photographs of either the plane itself or missile pieces. And now we do have word from the Ukrainians that they want to investigate that crash site for missile parts after we showed those images yesterday here on this program. And Ukrainian investigators want to search for the debris of a Russian missile at the site of that Ukrainian plane crash in Iran after seeing the information on the internet. Ukraine is looking at various possible causes of the crash of a Ukrainian airliner, including a possible missile attack, a collision, an engine explosion, or even the big T word. Now, it has yet to be revealed whether or not this was an accident, as my sources speculated yesterday, or if this was something that was done on purpose. Now, next, we have a thread from Julian's Rum where he speculates that this was most definitely done on purpose. Now, from Julian's Rum on Twitter, he pulls together a theory using several of the posts from our favorite Anon. He starts out, number one, why did Soros' son have several meetings with Canadian Prime Minister, and how is that related to the Clintons? Well, that would be the Uranium One funnel through Canada to X. Clearance pathway to complete the Uranium-1 deal. Why is the Canadian PM so important? Remember, Trudeau has deep ties to the Clintons. And he asks, why is this relevant today, Anons? Well, you're about to find out. He includes posts 5 and 2217 as well as 48. Now he says, why is the information regarding BO important regarding U1 and export approval to Canada to EU? Well, Canada was the middleman providing cover. And we've got post 46 there explaining that. And that brings us to this tweet. What did Trump really mean by 52 Iranian sites, and why was he so specific? Obviously, a very specific number. Was POTUS flushing the last clowns holding Iran hostage into the light? And remember this tweet from Donald Trump, targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago, some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture, and those targets in Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats. So clearly a warning that a strike was imminent. Now 4, reread crumbs regarding Iran. It was never about worldwide safety and security. It was never about nuclear disarmament. It was about opening a new untapped market. It was about securing a black site, the exchange, Uranium-1. Now what if President Trump knew precisely how many black sites there were? Now in post 1345, again, it says it was securing a black site. So by opening up Iran to business in the way that they did, it allowed the clowns to come on in and set up their own little fiefdom, much like they did in North Korea. What if his specific threat scared the absolute you-know-what out of the clowns on the ground? What if they tried to flee? What if the plane crash that killed 63 Canadians in Iran is connected? What if they weren't really Canadian? Well, here's a quick history lesson. After the plane went down yesterday, this report came out. Canada shocked and saddened after jet crash kills 63 Canadians. Now, remember, we looked at that passenger manifest yesterday. None of those names looked particularly Canadian. So that led me to believe that the people who were citizens of other countries could have either been dual citizens or perhaps they were Iranians who had gained citizenship, maybe giving up their Iranian citizenship. But it didn't look like there was many people naturally born in other countries. And here again, we have what looks like the tail section. And number 6, on November 4th, 1979, militant Islamic students took over the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, Iran, and took 66 U.S. personnel hostages inside. Avoiding capture that day were 6 U.S. State Department employees who took refuge in the homes of Canadian embassy officers. And here from the Clown's website talks about that very instance. Now, remember, they made a movie about this. Ben Affleck and his writing partner Chris Terrio made a movie about this. And the U.S. government developed several major operations to address this national crisis. Among them was a scheme developed by a small team of clowns in America in disguise and false documentation specialists to exfiltrate the Canadian Six as they became known from the country. The Canadian Parliament agreed to grant Canadian passports to these 6 Americans hiding inside Iran. The Clowns in America team, together with an experienced motion picture consultant, devised a cover story so exotic that it would not likely draw suspicions, and that was the production of a Hollywood movie. A movie. You're watching a movie. Canada wants a big role in Iran crash probe despite lack of diplomatic ties. That was a quote from Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. Clearance pathway to complete the U1 deal. Why is the Canadian Prime Minister so important? Do you see what I see, he asks. Justin Trudeau asking for a major role. And here is post number 48, once again talking about Q clearance and BO's relationship in regards to this Uranium-1 deal. Well, Julian postulates that the plane was their getaway vehicle, and President Trump baited them. Remember this post, we won't telegraph our moves to the enemy. We will, however, light a fire to flush them out. By stating on Twitter that they had 52 Iranian sites they were willing to hit very fast, very hard, did President Trump and the White Hats flush these bad actors out of Iran. Now, number 11, 63 Canadians died in the crash, and in Q drop 63, to those watching, you know who you are. You have a choice to make. You can stand up and do what you know to be right, or you can suffer the consequences of your previous actions. Make no mistake, you are on the losing side. 63 Canadians killed, post number 63, a specific message to the Black Hats. Now, he says, watch Trudeau very carefully in the coming days. I have a feeling he's panicking. And of course, we have the Punisher skull here. And then post number 13, food for thought, from another tweet by Julian. Last one, you should know I don't go to bed when I say. This 17 drop about the Russian plane crash in February 2018 implies they took down the plane to kill one passenger who was a uranium-1 source because he knew too much. So they may have done this. Did Q plus know? Future evidence exchange. And then we have the post embedded right here showing that they are willing to take down an entire passenger jet plane, killing hundreds of people if they need to take out a single person. Now, if we had 63 Canadians, could they have been nuclear scientists, at least one of them, with dual Canadian and Iranian citizenship, still working with Iran to try to keep the clowns in America there in power, to give them a base of operations, a place to work? Well, that is the end of the thread, but I think Julian kind of pulled some neat threads together, and thanks for that, Julian. Do appreciate it. Now, one more tweet from Julian as a follow-up. He says, regarding who shot down the plane, at this point, I found it most likely to be that Q Plus flushed the clowns out deliberately, but they pulled the trigger, and the dead can't speak. But if POTUS established a back channel with Iranians, there may be future evidence exchange that proves who did it. Now, there are some interesting things taking place in Iran right now in relation to the general who was taken out in Baghdad. We're going to take a look at that next. Now, late last night, as I was preparing to go to bed, I found this tweet from Raman Ghavami, and it details some intel which says that the Iranian government is cleaning house of Soleimani's men. So let's take a look at this. Now, first, it says a source inside the IRGC tells me that since yesterday evening, 56 of IRGC commanders have been arrested by the IRGC's intelligence organization. According to the source known as Haj Vahid, one of Soleimani's most trusted in Iraq is missing since the strike on Soleimani. Now, the source told me that 34 more commanders by the IRGC's intelligence organization have been arrested. All of them were loyal to Qasem Soleimani, the source said. This source is preparing to leave Iran. This is turning it to something very different. And this is why I said that Iran is cleaning house of Soleimani's men. Now, if there is a back channel between Iran and the United States, and Iran perhaps gave intelligence as to the location of Soleimani, could it be that the U.S. and Iran are working together to clear out the people who are the real bad actors inside the Iranian government? We know that President Trump has stated on numerous occasions that he wants Iran to be a happy, prosperous, free nation, and the actions that have been taken thus far could be leading directly to that. Now, the other question that I have is the people who have been arrested. Are these people who could have had something to do with this strike that took down this Ukrainian aircraft? Could these have been the bad actors working with the clowns in America who worked secretly to take down this aircraft, make it look like an accident, and give the cover that was necessary to kill at least one person on that Ukrainian Airlines flight? Hopefully, we will find out in the near future. Now, we also have Justin Trudeau himself speaking out directly in regards to this tragedy. He says that evidence does in fact indicate the Ukrainian plane was shot down by Iranian forces. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip.
The news will undoubtedly come as a further shock to the families who are already grieving in the face of this unspeakable tragedy. We have intelligence from multiple sources, including our allies and our own intelligence. The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile. This may well have been unintentional. This new information reinforces the need for a thorough investigation into this matter. Canada is working with its allies to ensure that a thorough and credible investigation is conducted to determine the causes of this fatal crash.
My only advice is just to make sure that you don't have the Dutch safety board do the examination, because we know how that turned out in the instance of MH17. And finally today, the FBI has released new records in their vault, and they'd have to deal with none other than Fusion GPS. Looks like we have 7 pages, and the first entry is dated 5/10/2017. And it has an interview with Bruce Orr. I'm sure that there is quite a bit of interesting information in here. I'm going to go ahead and read through all of this so that I can give you guys an accurate summation, and then that will be in the video for tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow's Friday, so I will include it as part of the live stream. So if you want to get an update on what is in these Fusion GPS records, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Well, guys, with breaking news, there is always new developments, and as we cover these things live, you can expect that in time they may change. So as we get more information, I will continue to keep you guys updated. Hopefully, we get some good news in regards to taking out the clowns, because we know that a safe, secure Iran is a safe, secure America. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to support this channel. If you'd like to see some ways that you can support the channel, you can always check the show notes in the pinned comment of this video below. Whether you like, whether you share, whether you make sure that your notifications are on, any way that you support this channel means so much to me. I could not be doing this without you, and I could not do it without your help. Without people like you, this channel would not exist, so thank you so much to everyone for all of their many means of support. Don't forget to check out the merchandise store that is also in the pinned comment, and I will see you guys next time.